everybody! I have gotten so many requests this year for a doll tutorial, from porcelain dolls to pretty cracked dolls to scary cracked dolls, so let's just do them all. I will start with the pretty porcelain doll, because once you get possessed by scary, evil doll spirits, it is hard to come back. I put in these big blue circle lenses to make my eyes as dolly as possible. For my foundation, I am mixing a light-colored, full-coverage foundation with white cream makeup. The full-coverage foundation will help my skin look as flawless as possible, while the white cream makeup will give my skin a little bit more of that porcelain color. Porcelain usually isn't solid white, so it's a good idea to mix white with another foundation. And then I will cover that with a setting powder to lock it all in place on my face and neck. For the eyeshadow, of course you can do whatever you want here, but in most of the reference photos that I found, porcelain dolls seem to usually have pretty subtle eyeshadow, mostly in natural tones, so I'm just going to use a beige eyeshadow along my brow bone and as a base, and then I'm going to put a dusty rose kind of color on my eyelid. We're just going to keep it really simple for this look. I went in a super weird order when I was filming this. I do not know why I didn't finish my eyes first. But I jumped straight to my eyebrows and filled them in with a light brown eyeshadow to match the blonde wig that I'm going to be wearing. And we're back to the eyes. I'm just using a liquid eyeliner to do a thin line across my upper lash line. And then I'll add mascara on top of that. And I guess we'll come back to the eyes again later. For now, blush! Porcelain dolls do usually have very heavy blush, and it's easy to accidentally do like the circular clown cheeks, and you don't want to do that. Just put down some soft pink blush in a circular motion and make sure you blend it all out so you don't look like a clown. Porcelain dolls usually tend to look more like creepy, heavily made up children than clowns, which is just as scary really, but something to keep in mind. Doll lips are usually small but pouty, so to get this look I'm going to overdraw my cupid's bow a little bit. They're usually really defined, and I'm going to decrease the width of my mouth by using a pink lip liner to redraw the shape of my lips, not quite as wide as my actual lips are. So I'll be leaving a little bit of space on the outside corner of my lips. And then I will use a darker rose kind of color to come back in and line the new lip shape, then fill in the outer part of the lips with this darker rose color, leaving the inside pink. Leaving the inside of the lips lighter will make them look more plump and fuller and more doll-like. Then top it off with a pink lipstick to blend the darker lip liner in a little bit. Once I have the lips how I want them, I will clean up the outer corners with that foundation mix that I made earlier. This is the same foundation mix that I have all over the rest of my face, so it should blend in pretty well. And now I'm going to make my cheeks pouty and my chin round with a cream contouring makeup. You can see that I'm drawing these shadow lines over my actual lips to help sell that look that my lips are actually smaller than they are. Blend out the shadows until you are happy with how they look. If you don't have a cream contouring makeup, no biggie. You can always just use an eyeshadow that is darker than your foundation to create shadows. And here we are, back at the eyes again. I guess we should finish them off, huh? So to top them off, I'm going to add white eyeliner to my waterline to create the illusion of bigger eyes. And of course, lashes from DOLLS and Rock-A-Lash are the perfect doll lashes. I mean, it's kind of exactly what they're made for. I'm going to stack two different pairs to get a really full, big doll look on my top lashes, starting with the bigger lash, which is lashing out loud on the bottom. And here you can see the major difference in fullness when you don't stack lashes and when you do. So I'm going to stack Born to Flirt on top of Lashing Out Loud, and then I'll use Underlash A for my underlashes. A dolly hairstyle goes a really long way when making any doll character, so this like super tight ringlet style is perfect for this look. This one is from Gothic Lolita Wigs, it's their ringlet wig. And from now until Halloween, my discount code has been bumped up, it's now Alexa20. After Halloween, it will go back to Alexa15, so you can save yourself a few extra bucks on your Halloween style this year. This beautiful, beautiful dress is actually a Marie Antoinette costume, but I thought it would work great for like a Victorian porcelain doll. The detailing and the sleeves and the asymmetry of the dress, it's just perfect. I love it. For my nails, I wanted to keep it in the same color palette as the dress, so I'm using a very soft baby pink gel polish from Madame Glam that is really subtly pink, like it's almost white. Not quite though, I mean it definitely is pink. It's just very subtle and it ended up matching this dress perfectly. And that completes the porcelain doll. If you're a porcelain doll, odds are you're probably gonna get broken eventually. You're made of porcelain. You're fragile. So for the cracked doll, I'm just gonna keep building off of the porcelain doll base that I just finished showing you. And using an orange or brown body paint, I'm going to start drawing out where I want the first hole to be. Once you have a shape that you like, start filling it in with black to actually make it look like a hole. I start by filling it in with a bigger brush and then coming in with a small detail brush to line the edges and make it look a lot more sharp. To me, basing the hole in orange or brown makes it look like you're seeing the inside of a hollow head. But if that is something that you don't like, of course, feel free to switch it up and just do solid black. And now it is time to add the cracks, which is what everyone seems to want to know about. The cracks will branch out from the main hole that I've created, and as they get further and further away from the hole, they'll keep splintering off, they'll get lighter, they'll get smaller. I'm going to make a few spots a little deeper, but on the whole, I want to keep them pretty light. Just barely touching your skin with that black paint will make it look a little more realistic. And make sure to keep the placement totally random. You don't want it to look like it's breaking in some sort of pattern, unless a patterned break suits your character's backstory. Mine is just a porcelain doll that has been broken, so it would shatter in a random way. After the main hole and cracks are all in place, I'm going to come around the edges with a white eyeshadow. I'm going to keep the eyeshadow the most concentrated at the edge of the cracks, and then I'm going to blend it outwards. This will make the cracks look deeper and more abrupt. The placement of the holes and cracks should be somewhere that makes sense with the costume you're planning on wearing. Because this one has a big open chest area, I decided to put a big hole right on my chest. It's just a very vulnerable spot, so it works well that my sad little doll would be broken there. Just like the hole on my face, I'm going to start by basing it out in orange and then coming back in and covering it up with black. And then I'm going to detail the outline of the hole, keeping it in a regular shape because it is more interesting to look at and is more believable as shattered porcelain that way. After I've added white eyeshadow around all the edges of the cracks, I'm also going to sweep it across my chest to make it more uniform. And finally, I'm going to put the last crack across my neck to kind of tie the other two cracks together. Feel free to add more cracks or fewer cracks. The fun part is making it your own. And now that I am done breaking myself into pieces, my cracked porcelain doll look is done. We can all agree that broken dolls are super freaking creepy, but nothing is creepier than a broken, possessed doll. On to the next one. This look is inspired by these two images from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark that haunted my childhood. My favorite scary doll makeup by Darla Eden, and bringing back a little bit of this makeup that I did 2 years ago, before I was even on YouTube. There is nothing pretty about this possessed doll makeup, so I'm going to start by taking off my lashes and removing my eyeshadow and lip color, and evening that all back out with my white cream makeup and foundation mix. Apply a lot of this product on the lips to cover up the color, and also because the buildup helps make your lips look crackly, and since we're straying far from beautiful here, that is a good thing. Then I'm going to use a black eyeshadow to dab along where the lips meet, just to drain the life out of this character a little bit more. Then I'm going to cover the eye socket with black body paint, really hollow it all out, and then I'm going to come back along the edges with a black eyeshadow and just dab along the edges to make it a little more messy looking. I don't want this to look clean at all. And then using a tiny detail brush, I came back in and did very light, like veiny kind of cracks coming out of this eye socket. And then I chose a few of those cracks to go over with black eyeshadow to smudge them out and really just make a mess. My possessed doll wig. Take your ringlet wig, flip it inside out, and shake it like the demon doll you are. If you set the wig a little bit further back on your head so the bangs are shorter, it will help give that worn out, kind of old neglected doll look. I don't know, then just be demon-y. We're done! Thank you guys so much for checking out this Halloween dolls makeup tutorial. I hope you liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of this year's Halloween videos. Thanks again for watching. I love you all so much. See you next time. Bye!